Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Godfather Part 2 Minute. With me, Alex Robinson.
And with me, Andy Robinson.
And we're going to talk about minute number 63 of the Godfather Part 2.
Alex, repeat after me.
Yes.
E minuto. Numero. 63.
63.
You got it.
60. I like to say Santa. Say
You love
Santa or say Santra?
No, you had it right the first time.
Say Santa.
Yeah, go with your gut when it comes to language.
Okay.
Well, never mind. Keep that filter on, Alex. Tell us about 63, Alex.
Well, in minute number 63, Mikey enters the modest Miami bungalow where a friendly woman offers him a tuna sandwich. He follows the sound of the television to find a retired investor living on a pension and reclining in front of the television. The older man reveals that he loves watching football, baseball too.
Wow.
Well, before we get to Hyman Roth, before we even get inside the house, we see Johnny Ola gestures to Mikey like, okay, go ahead on it. And Mikey starts going in and Johnny's kind of like trotting away. What do you think? Where's he going?
Well, don't forget, last minute we determined that this was Johnny Ola that the old Hyman Roth sent back from the future. Right. Just to make sure he got to the door before Mikey, so Mikey didn't see him in his diaper.
Yeah.
So Johnny's got to get back to that time machine, or else the entire multiverse will be inverted.
Why? What happens?
Well, 'cause you know how it goes with time. Anytime you stray from the plan.
What he wouldn't give for 20 more years.
Oh, that was the genesis of the time machine.
That's it.
What I wouldn't give for 3,000 more years.
Does Hyman ever refer to him? Does he ever refer to Johnny? Does he ever say, talk to Johnny?
I don't think so. No.
Maybe not even in the cutting up the...
I don't think so.
Cutting up the cake scene?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I admit it doesn't sound... Johnny doesn't sound like something that you can hear falling from Hyman Roth's lips.
Yeah.
Probably just calls him John.
John.
Jonathan.
Yeah. I like how you called it a modest Miami bungalow.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's what it is.
Before we go on, as I watch this minute, when we're looking at the inside of Hyman Roth's house.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I had a friend whose grandfather lived in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale area. Okay. And his family was Jewish. And let me tell you, as soon as I saw the inside of Hyman Roth's house, it really reminded me of that era. I mean, this was in the 80s, I guess, or
right.
Yeah, probably like mid 80s.
Yeah. And
it's just amazing how just the feel was the same, even though this takes place in the 50s. I guess my friend's grandfather probably had, because he was old at the time, he probably had furniture from that era.
Yeah.
And decor that still lingered from maybe the 60s.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain Miami style, you know. But yeah, his house does seem also very old fashioned. But I could see how if you visited it in the 80s, it would still seem, you know, they probably had the same stuff for 20 years in that house.
I like when you said it has a Miami style. I think anytime Miami is mentioned in The Godfather 2, it should be like, don't come on, they should insert that sound
like a samba music.
Yeah. our friend in Miami guarantees. I
was thinking actually when you were saying that, you just missed it. I was thinking of Miami Vice reboot, but with Hyman Roth and Johnny Ola as the two leads.
Awesome. That's great. It'd be Johnny and I'm thinking of Crocker and Tubbs. Were those their names?
Yeah, Crockett
and Tubbs.
Yeah. So it'd be Roth and Ola.
Yeah, I'm trying to align it a little bit more with the Crockett and Tubbs sound.
Yeah.
Duds. I don't know. He's like older.
Wait, so you think Hyman Roth's name would be Duds?
Well,
I could see giving Johnny that name, but not Hyman Roth wouldn't say. Yes, I'll go with Duds as a nickname.
What, I don't know, Johnny and Duds, Crocker and Tubbs. I can't think of Gramps.
Well, Hyman's not going to go for any of these nicknames.
Yeah, okay, Johnny and Roth. No.
Anyway, we'll work on it.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I think Johnny's getting back to the time machine.
Do you think that's what... I was also imagining that maybe... Because I was like, oh, does he just go wait in his car? And then I was like, is he just going home? Because I would have thought he would be like, I'm going to stick around to see how this plays out. Yeah. Or I'm going to... Either or that, I'm going to take these guys back to the airport. So...
Because he doesn't just stand around. Does he even move quickly away from the house? I think he kind of jogs.
Yeah, but he's kind of like
moving along.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to get back to the track.
Oh, maybe he's got a lot of money right now to one of those horses. Then I was thinking, I wonder if he lives like next door.
Oh.
Because I think if I was Hyman Roth, I don't know, would you want... I feel like I would want my number one, the same way the Corleones have a compound, I think Hyman Roth would want his friends close.
Yeah.
Well, like we said, though, also last week, for all we know, he owns the entire neighborhood. He owns every house on the block.
That's true.
They're all button men.
Maybe Johnny lives a few blocks away, but all of Hyman Roth's enemies live just 1 block away.
He's like, I don't want Italians living in my neighborhood.
Well, because he keeps his friends close, but his enemies close. No, you got it, right?
I get
You made it a whole cultural thing.
Well, it could be both.
Okay. That's the irony. He has to keep all of the people not of his culture living near him, which changes the makeup of his neighborhood. He's like, I'm always moving, Michael, because I don't like my neighborhood.
This neighborhood's really gone downhill since I invited all my enemies to come live in my development.
My ethos about how to stay in business is at odds with my ethos of the quality of the neighborhood I like to stay in.
So one interesting thing I've thought of while watching this scene is to compare it with other scenes where a big mob figure is seeing visitors.
Yeah.
Obviously the first time we see it is on Connie's wedding day. We see the Don accepting. And it's funny, we've mentioned before, like the image of the Don wearing a tuxedo as if that's his normal everyday clothes. It just happens to be his daughter's wedding day the first time we see him. Yeah. So the image of him in a tuxedo kind of. They should have had young Marlon Brando, young Vito wearing a tuxedo the entire time. Even when he just came off, he was in Sicily and everything.
Yeah. That's what Clemenza. Oh, I've got a friend who's got a nice tuxedo for
that's
you.
How he knew.
That's the origin of the tuxedo. Is the first gift he was given by someone in the business.
Yeah, we don't meet any tailors, right? We meet a baker. We meet a corpse jockey. We meet a corpse valet.
Yeah, button man.
We don't meet any tailors.
What about in GF3? Do we not meet? Doesn't the dapper Don Joey? He's all slick all the time. It is true. I wear the finest Italian silks.
I have many tailors who work for me. Elizabeth Taylor. Andy Taylor.
Does a tailor also get your shoes?
I think make them or...
No, you buy them for you and fit you for them.
I don't think so.
Because if it is, no wonder that whole intro scene with Joey Zaza, that's what he's complaining about.
Because he's a stone in his shoe.
Yeah. He's like, I've got to speak with that new tailor.
What did you come to me for? Why don't you go to a cobbler? We hear about a travel agent. We never see one.
No.
That we know of, anyway. For all we know, So you said...
Why don't you go to a travel agent? It's like a little bit of dialogue that's humorous, intended to be humorous.
Yeah,
there's a lot of dialogue that is humorous. But I don't know how much a ton of it is meant to be humorous.
I think some of it is meant to, in the scene where Clemenza and in those scenes where they're all hanging out, I think those are scenes. I think those Paulio, you won't see him no more, or poor choice of words. I think those are supposed to be funny.
Is it always Clemenza?
I mean, Tessio doesn't strike me as a jokey kind of guy.
Yeah,
He's more,
Sonny with the whole bada bing, you get blood all over your Ivy
that's
League
true.
suit. That's I think intended to be funny.
And of course, Mikey told that hilarious story about Johnny's contract negotiations.
We have to overdub
That'd be funny
Kay
if Mikey was all
laughing.
laughing, and then he tells him, "Your blood or your brains or your signature is going to be on the contract."
And Kate is laughing too. Is that a true story, Michael? Is it true?
How do you like your lasagna? So, and then in GF1, is obviously that's the big scene.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is probably maybe, I don't know, is it closer to GF1 with the Turk meeting? The Don?
Yeah,
like, that's not
maybe.
really like a big formal thing. That's just him coming to his office. Although
it's semi-formal. You've got all the couple regimes there. Fredo's there. Santino's there. You know, they have a drink.
Yeah, I guess
hands.
formal, not like black tie, not the way that the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever see Hyman Roth, and the most formal we see him is in this scene.
Oh, I would say that
during the airport scene, he's wearing a suit jacket.
I was gonna say actually during the cake cutting scene.
Oh yeah,
because he's wearing kind of almost like a
sweater, like
a Tommy Hilfiger kind of sailor, kind of like something you'd wear like while you were out yachting or something. You know what I mean? Maybe that's how they got to Cuba. Maybe he took a ship there.
Just 90 miles, Michael.
90 miles over choppy seas.
Also, Hyman Roth's got a tailor. He's got someone designing his.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah, we don't see him though. I'm sure a lot of people. I'm sure Mikey has a tailor too. But we walk around in these fancy suits all the time.
Do you think Hyman Roth trusts a tailor that doesn't speak English?
Yiddish. He would at least speak Yiddish, I think.
No, in all seriousness, does he have a Jewish tailor?
Probably. Oh, I don't know.
Or does he have an Italian tailor?
I don't know.
I think Italians specialize in tailoring?
They're kind of, well, I don't know, but Jews are also famous for like the garment district and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure. Yeah. We'll ask, we'll answer.
Okay, we'll try.
See if we can figure out would a man of Hyman Roth's stature be more likely to have a Jewish tailor or an Italian tailor. All right.
Hey, keep your enemies close, but keep your tailor...
Keep your friends, keep your tailor close, but keep your enemies' tailors
closer. Yes, he's got 20 tailors all from there.
You know what I would do let's suppose there was a tailor who. Do you think there was a tailor who served multiple dons? Well, first of all, do you think that's true? Do you think there's like a famous tailor in all like Barzini and the Dapper Don?
Yikes!
Are tailors considered like neutral in the? Or does a tailor kind of have to declare allegiance to? Because if I was Barzini, I wouldn't want him making suits for any other dons.
Yeah. Well, and also, do you trust them?
Yeah, that too.
Because not that you're talking business around your tailor, but I don't know. That's a great question. All the support staff.
Yeah.
Who's neutral and who's... I mean, we know Bonacera originally did not want to get involved. He did not want to go to Don Corleone.
He believed in America.
Yeah, because he did not want to be aligned to one particular family and be indebted. Yeah. Do you think that when Barzini and Tattaglia learned that Bonacera went to Don Corleone and Don Corleone did that favor, I'm sure it got around.
Yeah.
That they would no longer use Bonacera's services? I guess that's the same kind of question. At what point does a tradesperson...
Yeah, because there is some cooperation. Usually there's cooperation between the families. Yeah. They're not usually at war with each other. Yeah. So normally you wouldn't think they would be that like they all use the same judges and politicians and all that stuff. So I don't know
if Don Corleone's willing to share them.
Right.
That'd be great at the dinner.
They have to let him take water from the well.
Yeah. Barzini says, but Don Corleone must be willing to share the politicians that he has in his pocket. I'll do that if you share your tailor. I haven't been able to get a good suit in 20 years.
All right, you give me Enzo the baker. I'll give you Bonacera and Nazarene in exchange.
When have I refused an accommodation? That's really the whole purpose of the meeting. It had nothing to do with Mikey and the war. It was like, we got to give back to business. We need tailors. We need cobblers. We need butlers.
Also in GF1, we do see a massage person and a barber who are doing services for the family. So
maybe after the end of GF1, that's when all the families kind of tighten things up. So we can't just have any masseuse because he's going to let the button man in the door.
Yeah.
Shoot Mo Green in the eye.
It's easy to look back at a simpler time when we all just used to have one tailor for the whole neighborhood. We all used to go to him. Now it's all this.
My father's...
How things get so far.
Yeah. My father's way of doing business is over. Even he knows that. We need cobblers.
I don't need tough guys. I need cobblers.
One cobbler can make more money fixing shoes than 100 lawyers. That's how extreme it's gotten. What else you got?
Well, so I was talking about comparing the different contrasting, and of course, earlier in this film, we saw people were coming to Mikey and asking for favors and stuff, and so it's interesting comparing the way this is handled compared to those other things. Like Mikey's like brought in with like no fanfare or whatever. Should we just go through it then, I guess?
Let's do it. Let me just say, but before even before what I was going to say,
get it off your chest.
Let me just say it. Hyman Roth. This is the first minute we see him.
That's crazy. We've been making jokes about Hyman Roth for like 5 years now, and this is literally the first time we ever see him.
Oh my gosh! We've even seen him in Injustice for All before we've seen him in the Godfather trilogy.
It's true. We watched it out of order. We watched it first when he was older. Now this is like a flashback within the.
It's just great to see old man Roth.
Yeah,
this is great to see him. And I want to say, I think it's really interesting that Mikey so Johnny Ola goes to the door.
Yeah.
We assume Hyman Roth's wife greets him.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Ola walks away. We assume Hyman's wife goes to Hyman and says, "Hey, Michael Corleone's here."
Yeah.
And then Michael walks to the door. His wife greets him and then sends him into the house.
Yes.
I would have thought Hyman would have gotten up. But is that a power move? Hey, you're here. I know you're here, but I'm just going to keep watching a football game.
Well, that's what I wrote down. Is it a conscious power play? Like, is he like, when Michael gets here, I'm not going to get up to establish my dominance?
Yeah.
Or is it like a totally unconscious power play? Like it didn't even occur to him to get up because he was just like, well, I'm just like, I don't get up for anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm Hyman Roth. Why would I get up for him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like the benefit of being Hyman Roth is you don't have to get up for anyone anymore.
Yeah. At that
my age, you don't want to get up for anyone.
Even though it's just 20, Michael just 20 feet away from a friendly visitor.
Well, because not only does he not stand up, he does like sit up a bit.
Yeah,
but then he immediately gets back into his like almost ridiculously ultra relaxed pose of like resting his leg up on the almost like showing like this is how relaxed I am. Not only am I not getting up, I'm going to recline uncomfortably and rest my knee on this armrest.
I don't know. I think it's a little of both. I don't think there's a lot that Hyman Roth does not think about.
You think he's always aware of the image he's projecting.
Modest Miami home.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't answer the door. He's watching the football game. He's ultra relaxed. And when Michael comes in, he's like, Michael, come on in. And he gets right back to it, watching the game.
Totally.
Amazing.
The game he was watching is University of South Carolina versus Notre Dame.
Oh my gosh,
Notre Dame!
Wow.
They were apparently big rivals, and in this game, here's something interesting: the USC beat Notre Dame 20-13. And according to history, at least in our timeline, this game happened on November 29th, 1958.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And as we know, the Cuban Revolution happens on January 1st, 1959.
In the movie.
Yeah. So this is a month and change away from the. Do you think that's more time than you thought, less time than you thought, or is that time? Is the fact that happened? Did the game happen on that date in their time? The game happened earlier in their timeline as opposed to our timeline.
Yeah, it does. I think I would have thought more time would go on between those two events. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's only 2 months.
Yeah, not even like a month and a half.
When Michael meets Hyman Roth, or when he, I won't even say what's going to happen. I want to.
Well, so interesting. You said
spoilers.
You said he meets Hyman Roth. Are we to infer that they have met previously?
Oh, maybe probably when Mikey was a kid, right?
I don't know.
Well, Hyman Roth doesn't give the impression that he's meeting Michael for the first time.
I don't know. What do you think he was?
He just says, Mr. Roth. He says, oh, Michael, come on. Doesn't he say, Michael, come on in?
Right. But does that mean he knows him, or does it just mean he was expecting him?
I think he knows him at some point. Yeah.
Do you think he... But did he know... I don't necessarily think he would know him from childhood. Because I don't imagine he would bring his kids to
meetings in the
I don't think he
office. Yeah, maybe not.
Although who knows? Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
maybe it was a little thing like one time when, Hyman was leaving. He bumped into children. I love children. They're the most precious commodity. Like that. I think Roth. I think we addressed that. Roth has kids of his own, and we said we don't. We think if he does, they're not involved in the crime.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Business.
Yeah, he wants them out. Yeah.
So, So I don't know if if this is the. I'm going to guess that they met even business-related things since he became the crime boss.
Yeah.
Which was now like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, because it's a few years. There has to have been some point where he met.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
What do you think about Hyman Roth saying, asking Mikey, hey, what does he say? I love watching the football game. I like his use of
He says he loves watching football in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, and then he says, "Do you follow?
Do you follow the football game?
Do you follow the football game?"
Mikey says, "Not as much as I used to."
Yeah.
And Roth says, "It's one of the things I love about this country." Mm-hmm. What does he mean by that?
Well, I remember the question I had is, "What else does he love about this country?"
Well. You're talking about America, not Cuba, right? Because we know what he likes about Cuba. He's very clear about that.
Yeah.
Boy, an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? Well, let's go back. Where is he from? Is he American? I mean, that line, this is one of the things I love about this country, makes it sound like he has experience in another country.
I'm going to guess probably he's an immigrant, probably.
Yeah.
Probably Eastern Europe, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Because I thought he was a kid when he started working with.
Right. Well.
Right.
He could still be an immigrant.
Yeah. I guess like Don Corleone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess opportunity. That's what he loves about America.
Yeah. Probably.
He's doing really well.
You work hard and you take advantage of your opportunities. Mm-hmm. You can get far in this country.
Yeah. So I love that. He says,
as long as you never lie about your age.
Football and baseball, that's what he loves about this country, that they exist, or that he can make money off of them by fixing them.
Well, I think he's about to tell us how long he's been a fan of baseball.
Yeah.
But the one thing I like about it is that he says baseball too. And I don't know if this is an intentional thing, but I feel like that him saying something too, because doesn't he say, we made a lot of money, your father too?
Yeah.
Like he does that blank too.
Yeah.
That's like his kind of verbal like pattern. So I like that.
In one of the deleted scenes, Hyman Roth says, Michael, we're bigger than U.S. Steel and United Fruit too. They felt it was a little too much. It does cut right to dun, 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 like the samba Latin music.
Here we're bigger than U.S. Steel, the Folgers Coffee Company, International Business Machines.
Yeah, of which I do own stock. You should too, Michael. Oh, that's where Michael gets his first stock tip. In the scene later where they're all in Cuba meeting with the president and they're passing the gold telephone around, and the president someone is announcing who the different representatives are.
Yeah.
I think Hyman Roth, under his breath, is saying this. So, and we also have Senor Trudy from United Fruit, bigger than them, and so from U.S. Steel, we're bigger than them.
Small potatoes,
bigger than them. Smaller potatoes, even smaller potatoes. All right, Mr. Roth, we're going to have to ask you to refrain from commentary after each person is introduced.
I just want you all to know. So I have a question for you about who is the real Andy Robinson.
Who is the real Robinson?
Andy, I'm afraid we've reached the paywall portion of this episode.
You don't say, Hyman.
Well, Hyman, the way people can get around this is by going to godfatherminute.com/support.
And pledging some money every month, dollar for dollar, to get bonus content. And you can get it all right in the archive.
And it's just $1 a week, small potatoes.
And so you're just 1 minute away from a friendly podcast archive.
Let me ask you a question.
No.
That was so